Hello and welcome to Tri-Kent's installation video. Today we're going to show you how to install our Tri-Kent trigger system. Now we're going to go through the tools that you will need to disassemble and remove your fire control system and your safety, and the tools you're going to need to install the Tri-Kent trigger and reassemble the rifle. First, we're going to need a small hammer. We prefer brass because it does not mar your finish, a flathead screwdriver, a roll pin punch, an Allen or hex head wrench, and a parts tray. Next, we're going to make sure that your rifle is unloaded. The first and foremost of any safe handling of a firearm is always make sure that the weapon is clear. On the AR15 rifle, we first remove the magazine, and we've already done that here. Next, we check the chamber, and it is also unloaded. We cannot stress enough that with a firearm, you always want it unloaded anytime you're working with it. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of how we're going to tear your rifle down, remove your fire control system, safety and grip, and then install your trigger. So the first step in our installation is to detach the upper from the lower. There are two pins that do that on the rifle. Simply push them out, and it may take a little pressure, it may not. It all depends upon your rifle, how new it is, how old it is, how much wear and tear is on it. We're going to go ahead and set the upper assembly off to the side, as we will need that later when we reassemble. The next step we want to walk you through is to remove the grip. So we'll turn the receiver upside down. We'll take, in this case, the flathead screwdriver. We will insert it and start to remove the screw that holds the grip onto the lower receiver. Now, while he is removing that, inside of that grip is a small spring. That is a safety detent spring. When you remove the grip from there, please be careful not to lose the safety detent spring. This is why we have that magnetic tray there, so that we can put the spring in it and it doesn't go flying across the room. Next, we're going to turn the receiver 180 degrees, and we're going to pull out the detent. We're also going to put that in the magnetic parts tray. And now we're going to pull out the safety. It should just come right out. Those items we will need later for reassembly. Go ahead and remove the roll pins on both of them. You may want to put your hand in front of this once you get the pins rolled out, so that parts don't go flying. In the plastic bag that your Tri-Kent trigger was kept in is where I recommend putting the roll pins, the hammer, the trigger, and the disconnect into, so you can keep them all separate. We will not be using these parts, as our Tri-Kent trigger system completely replaces all of those. Now we get to the installation of the Tri-Kent hybrid trigger system. As you see, we have removed the pins and the retaining clip from this, and we'll want to make sure that the hammer is in the cocked position. What this does is ensures that our hammer spring is aligned in the proper position. If we do not cock the hammer, the springs themselves can align on the back side of our pin instead of the front side. We want them aligned on the front, not the back. While your trigger unit will still function with them in the wrong place, it will cause premature failure of that spring. We're going to slide it right into the receiver just like that. Next, we're going to take the 2 pins and put them in, and if you'll hold those pins up, you can see that there's a recess cut in both of them. Those recesses need to be properly aligned so our retaining clip can lock them into place. As you can see, he's looking at the holes, making sure that the recesses are on the proper side and lining them up. Some of your receivers will be an extremely tight fit and they will need to be slightly tapped to get in. Others, they will drop right in. Again, this goes to how old your receiver is, how much wear and tear has been on your receiver, etc., etc. You now see that he's got his retaining clip in his hand. He doesn't like the way they're lined up, so he's using his hammer to align them. Simply put the retaining clip in there, and with a little bit of thumb pressure, it should snap into place. If it does not snap into a place, look at the alignment of your pins, and a slight tap might be necessary to align our retaining clip. Now, the reason we use the retaining clip is multiple reasons. Number one, it aligns everything as it needs to. Number two, that little retaining clip eliminates the need for anti-lock pins. Anybody who's been a serious shooter knows that your pins that hold your fire control in place have a tendency to sometimes walk out. This completely eliminates it. Next, we're going to test the trigger to make sure it fires properly. And we're going to start to reassemble our rifle. We're going to want to make sure that we align the safety in the proper location. Put the detent in the little hole on the side of the receiver. We're going to put the grip back on, and now we're going to feed the spring into the grip and make sure that it's all aligned. Pay very close attention to make sure that that spring is aligned properly. If it's not, you will bend it at a 45 or a 90 degree angle, which will not allow your safety to properly engage. After he gets done tightening that up, we're going to check for proper function of the safety and the trigger to make sure that the engagement is crisp. We will hear an audible click when the safety is flipped and back into the safe position. And now we're going to take it off of the safe position in the fire. We're going to depress the trigger, and our trigger works fine. We're going to put it back into the fire position, the trigger that is. Now we're going to put it into the safe position, and we're going to pull on the trigger to make sure that the safety is engaging properly. At this point, everything looks like it's supposed to. We're going to put the upper back on it. Now all we have to do is reattach the upper, which consists of lining it up on the lower and pushing our takedown pins into the proper place. We're now going to charge the weapon. We're going to point it in a safe direction. And we're going to charge it one more time. Please note that on the Tri-Cant trigger system, the safety needs to be in the fire position when we need to charge it. This is something that we have designed into it to keep it safer for a lot of reasons. Any questions that you guys have pertaining to installation, our trigger unit, and or any service or problems, feel free to call us at 402-640-2341 or email us through the website at www.tricant.com. Thank you for taking the time to view our installation video, If you have any questions or comments, again, please contact us at the preceding numbers, email address.